they got stuck. Where there was intention to move forward, everybody wants to move forward, waiting for access and resources. So there was this team, and they were pursuing an MVP possibility, which was around automating a set of rules that were used to edit documents. And now this team and the organization was in the business of helping publishers publish journals and books. So they wanted to make it easy for their customers, these publishers, to choose these editing rules as a self-service option rather than sitting through meetings and discussing, etc. Now the team had already a set of rules, about 900 rules or so, that they had curated their experience and experience working with publishers, and they also built a simple HTML based UI interface that potentially their customers. But at this point, they got stuck because the tech team was looking for the specs from the operations team, and the operations team had just a list of rules that they're already curated to offer. So this is a typical logjam situation. Now, what did they do to get unstuck, to break out of the logjam? Instead of looking at all the rules, what this team did was they just took a few rules, maybe less than 5, to see how they can fit those rules into the UI mockup that they already had. In doing that, they found out that the UI mockup doesn't accommodate the rules as they were, especially these small set of rules. So what they ended up doing in the same meeting where the team was together doing this, they made changes to the HTML UI mockup. And then actually went through multiple iterations of the change mockup because they were going through multiple rules, one after the other. So suddenly they got movement where they were able to do something with these specific rules that they had identified as a starting point, and they were able to break out of the logjam, and more importantly, discovered a path forward to build momentum towards this goal of building this self-service UI for customers to sort of configure or edit their own rules. Basically, had 900 rules. They started with just 5 rules, right? So something like that, where you are getting to a very specific version of the challenge situation that you're stuck in. A logjam happens when you have an idea that you're excited about, you want to do something about it, where there's intention to move forward, everybody wants to move forward, but we are sort of waiting for resources, technology, know-how, skills. We need a lot of bandwidth because there's a lot of data to process or whatever. So that's a typical situation, and usually happens during the MVP execution phase, during the hypo journey. It's a team that was working with a telecom customer and had to come up with an MVP possibility that would make extending the mobile phone contracts easy for this customer, right, which were the mobile phone service subscribers. And this was supposed to make it easy. The idea was to make it easy by making it, the old and the new extension contracts, compare them easily, right, for the sales people or the account people who are selling these contracts. But to do this, they needed access to a packaged software application that was managing these contracts to begin with in the customer network, and they also needed access to real data, all that stuff, contract data, and so they were stuck thinking about this. How do we do this? Because we have to really automate this, etc. They didn't have the resources and the access, etc. So what they ended up doing, again, another logjam situation. Instead, what they did was to instead of waiting for access and resources, the team decided to mock up the actual experience of comparing contracts using Word and Excel. They took couple of contracts, uh, and they actually mocked the experience. I mean, sort of created this mock-up to, so that their customer can, their account salespeople, business people can experience what it is like to do the side-by-side comparison, and they are able to do this in a matter of weeks. And more importantly, they started, getting unstuck and breaking out of the logjam. And the customer was able to experience that, and they were happy, and they awarded a project to this team to actually develop the full digital version of this package software that was anyway there. So they actually won some new work because they were able to get unstuck and get their experience to experience their MVP. If the solution that you're pursuing is a digital technology based solution, how can I simulate the direct experience that the technology is going to provide, but without the technology, without the digital technology, because that's the bottleneck, right? So what's the direct experience I'm trying to provide, and how can I simulate that experience? Now you can simulate this experience without technology if you get very specific, get to a very specific version of that situation. That's possible, right? It's not possible at scale. So, and as a general rule, remember that if you're stuck, in a log jam, not able to make progress, probably because you're not being specific about the situation. You're thinking at scale, maybe, or trying to do things at scale, which means with digital technology, and that's what creates these log jam situations. The way to get unstuck is to get very specific about the situation or solution that you're trying to explore. So it's sort of a zoom in within the zoom in MVP that you're pursuing.